So we see Maki kill the entire Zhoniin clan in this episode. Like, literally, it's a bloodbath, which is pretty intense for this series, and it's a big narrative shift. But I guess Maki is pretty much justified for doing it, and I'll get into that. So at the beginning of this episode, we see Maki going to the Zhoniin clan. She's going there because in the previous episode, with that huge, massive exposition done, one of their big plans was for Maki to go there to get some cursed tools to help them in the culling game. However, I mean, she kind of knew, but at the same time, maybe didn't realize how much baggage was going to come along with that, because, yes, she is allowed to go there to do this because it was established that Megumi is now the leader of the Zhoniin clan due to Naoya's dad dying in season 2, and that's because of the deal that Toji had made with him off screen. So, of course, Megumi could give her permission to go to the Zhoniin clan to get any kind of tool that she wants, regardless of what Naoya or the rest of the Hei want. The Hei are like the top guys in the Zhoniin clan. It says that they're semi-grade 1 or higher, and we saw in the previous episode that Naoya is special grade 1. And also, let me correct what I had said about that. I said that special grade 1 was just like a really strong grade 1 sorcerer. That is not the case. Sorry, I forgot those details. I know that probably upset a lot of you, but in the data book, it says that special grade 1 is just the equivalent of a grade 1 sorcerer, but they're just not affiliated with Jujutsu High. I know that's convoluted and unnecessary, but that's just how Gege works, and we have to abide by it. So it says it in the data book, guys, even though most of you don't care. Anyway, as Maki is going to the Zhoniin clan, we see the Hei all discussing amongst themselves that they're essentially going to kill Maki, Mai, and Megumi anyway, because they don't want Megumi as the head of the Zhoniin clan, because he's going to make relations better with the Gojo clan, as well as the Kamo clan, because, he's boys with both Gojo and Noritoshi Kamo, who is going to eventually become the leader of that clan. So this is building up right there, justification for Maki killing everyone in this episode, because they're going to kill them anyway. So if she doesn't kill them, they're screwed. And the person who is just going to immediately do this is Maki's freaking dad, who is just a pure sociopath. Of course, I mean, why not? And I think this is like the first time we're really getting into who this character is, Ogi Zhoniin. I think we saw him 2 episodes ago, maybe, when they were reading the will or whatever, but along with the rest of these characters, but it ultimately doesn't even matter because they all just die in this episode anyway. But he comes across Ogi, her father, who already has Mai, and they have like this brief fight, and we see that Maki was able to get this dragon bone cursed tool sword thing that has like these jets on it that are, I guess, propelled by cursed energy or whatever, and they just make the swing of the sword more powerful. Like it's like a rocket baseball bat or whatever. But at this point, of course, she is no match for her father, who is, pretty powerful. And he also had injured Mai as well with his sword, and he just throws them both down into like this training, torture, punishment pit or whatever, where he keeps other grade 2 or lower cursed spirits down there. He's just going to let them get eaten alive. And he mentions many times that he essentially hates them because they don't have any talent, and because of that, they held him back from becoming the head of the Zhoniin clan. Like, that's why Naobito, who's also revealed to be his older brother, by the way, in this episode, he became the head of the Zhoniin clan because his son Naoya actually had his curse technique and had more talent than both Mai and Maki. But anyway, Mai winds up like going into this Jujutsu mind world with Maki. It doesn't matter how this works, it just does. And she more or less reveals that because they are twins, the way that Jujutsu works is that it views them as one person, and in a roundabout way, it like holds them both back, but more so Maki, I guess, because Maki like almost has full-blown heavenly restriction. Heavenly restriction, the thing that Toji had, where he has 0 cursed energy, but in exchange he becomes like a super ultra powerful human with like super strength, senses evolved, everything. But in Maki's case, she has like a little bit of cursed energy. So she's basically just like a really strong typical human. Like, she can't see curses or anything. Like, she has to wear those glasses because of it, but she doesn't have full-blown heavenly restriction because of the minuscule cursed energy that she has. So if Mai were to die, which she does in this episode, then the residual cursed energy that Maki has goes away, goes to 0, and then she gets full-blown heavenly restriction, which is what happens. Mai knew this, and she winds up dying due to the wound that she received from Ogi, their father, I guess, as well as the strain that she puts on her body with her curse technique construction, developing this sword that resembles Toji's sword as one last gift to Maki. So in the process, she dies, and then, like I said, it unlocks Maki's full-blown heavenly restriction. Then she wakes up and she is now just the way that Toji was in season 2. And now that she is that powerful, we see that she instantly kills Oak. Like, she cuts off the top of his head before he even realizes anything that had happened. And she goes on to just slaughter everyone else. And this is because as Mai was dying, her last wish was essentially to say, destroy it all. Everything. Don't leave anything behind. Like, kill them all, because they're all unredeemable. All of the Zhoniin clan, more or less, are just irredeemable sociopaths. And, you know, like, chauvinists or whatever, but that's besides the point. And in order to make progress in this Jujutsu world, not even just to get to where they want to be in the Culling game, but just even after the fact, they kind of have to wipe the Zhoniin clan off the map here, which is what Maki does. She systematically goes through every single one of them individually and kills all of them. We even get this really cool Kill Bill sequence, which even when I covered these chapters back, I think almost 5 years ago at this point, I knew that it was going to become a Kill Bill-like sequence once it was animated. I might even have said that in my reviews. I don't know. You can go back and watch them if you want. I'm not going to. Very cool homage to that movie. If you haven't seen it, you should check it out. But also, before we move on real quick, I just wanted to point out how strong Heavenly Restriction is here, because Ogi mentions in this episode that, like, yeah, you know, Heavenly Restriction or whatever, or even just coming close to that, I guess it's strong on paper, but like, it doesn't really matter because we Jujutsu sorcerers strengthen ourselves with cursed energy anyway, so you can't even amount to that. And then we see that, oh yes, it surpasses that big time. Like, it doesn't outright say it, but Maki is essentially special grade in strength at this point. Like, you could debate me on that or whatever, but I think it's showing the clear difference between her and grade 1 sorcerers. Speaking of that, she winds up going against the Hei here, who all have really cool curse techniques that we don't get any explanation on as to what they are, so it doesn't really matter, but they look pretty cool. I mean, look at them. They have like Naruto kind of techniques. Maybe that's what Gege was going for here. I don't know, but she just winds up killing them all until she eventually gets to the boss, Naoya, everybody's new favorite character because of, you know, how he was in the previous episode, or was it episode 2? I think it was episode 2. Yeah, it was episode 2. Episode 3 was the Yap Fest. But as they're fighting, Naoya is spamming his projection sorcery, where he can move 24 movements in like a second. And then also, if he touches you and you don't respond in 1/24th of a second, then you'll be frozen for a second. And despite her insane Heavenly Restriction power-up, she's still having a little bit of difficulty with this. I mean, it is a pretty broken technique. And he keeps building upon it. Like, he's going from like 24 movements to 24 movements. Like, he's stacking it upon itself, essentially, like going off of the momentum. And he's moving like ultra fast. But as he's doing this, Maki is like counting the frames. So she's figuring out slowly what's going on here. And I say slowly, this is all happening in like seconds in real time. But she's figuring out that, like, yeah, he's moving fast, but he's not like moving fast in a traditional sense. He's using like the curse technique to make it seem like he's physically moving faster than he actually is. And then once she counts down to how many frames that he's going to move, she catches him at the last second. And all of his momentum is actually used against him because she just counters him with one big massive strike and literally crushes his skull. And then the cherry on top is Maki comes across her mother, who also hated her, and she just slits her throat. And as Maki's mother is dying, Naoya, who survived that punch, is like trying to crawl to safety or whatever. She finds Naoya and then stabs him in the back, which is pretty fascinating. I don't really want to put too much emphasis on this scene because it is going to lead to something, but I don't want to spoil you with anything. But we did speculate about this when the chapter came out 5 years ago, and what we speculated about did come to fruition, so that's all I'll say. But yeah, she kills Naoya. But anyway, Maki winds up giving Mai's body to Momo, and then in the fallout of this big massacre, the Gojo clan and the Kamo clan motion to the headquarters, you know, the Jujutsu higher-ups, I guess, to remove the Zhoniin clan from the big three families, and they all agreed to this. So the Zhoniin clan, it doesn't really matter anymore because it's just Maki and Megumi anyway. But this will kind of come back later on, even though it's kind of just a little side plot that doesn't really matter for the big grand scheme of things anyway. But yeah, that's it for this one, guys. Let me know what you thought about this episode in the comments, and if you liked it, please give it a like and please subscribe if you haven't already. Have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one.